Kid, do anything you want. Been waiting to get in here for a long time. What's going on here? Bob Venn and this fine-looking gentleman here should have been wearing the green yesterday. I guess is Frank Kavanaugh, fellow employee with Customs for over 20 years. And how are you, Frank?
Fine.
We're at Kavanaugh Realty on Champlain Street in Rouse's Point, New York. And Kavanaugh Realty has been around here a long time. How long, Frank?
1956 we started.
And it was original, right? You didn't buy out of...
I was with, I started out with Tony Toloski. Tony used to work in Customs, too.
Yes?
Which is not neither here, really, but... when Tony resigned from Customs, he followed up his law degree, became a lawyer in Plattsburgh, and I, in turn, became his salesman in the Rouse's Point area in 1956, operating out of my house, and continued on until the present time.
So when you were working for Tony at the time? Or?
I was in Customs and I was, sidelined.
Then he had the business originally?
He had the business in Plattsburgh. He was a broker around Clinton Street in Plattsburgh.
Okay.
And
so you just formed your own after you...
I decided I had some extra time. I wanted to get involved in doing something, so real estate looked interesting.
Well, you were doing something. You were working at Customs.
Oh, say, I really...
Huh?
Really put in some time over there.
A lot of activity up there now. All these big drug busts. You see that in this morning's paper?
Right.
Something else, huh?
Yeah.
Well, Frank, before we get into Kavanaugh Realty, tell us about Frank Kavanaugh. I understand you're not from this area originally.
Well, I was born in Theresa, New York in 1920. And
gave his age right there. I figured that up quick.
Before I know I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, born in Theresa, New York, lived in the Thousand Island area until 1940 when I joined the U.S. Army and went overseas. I was at Pearl Harbor at the time of the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Right?
And followed the 27th Infantry Regiment through World War II until 1945 when I was discharged and returned to the Thousand Islands, and I had about a 3 months rest there and had an opportunity to get into Customs and ended up coming down to Rouse's Point and been here ever since.
And retired as a supervisory inspector for the Customs Service and one of the most popular inspectors at the Customs, not only for the employees but with the brokers also. When you wanted to get something done, you went and saw Frank and it got done. And we appreciated that, Frank, very much.
Thank you.
Still talk about you. Not all, not everything. I can't tell you everything.
Good, no.
All right. So you were doing this while you were at Customs on a part-time...
You had to apply for permission to do these as a sideline in Customs and you first for this sort of thing, and I did apply for it. It was granted, and that's the way I got involved. I had a lot of energy, and I had 8 hours for Customs and 8 hours for sleep, and I had 8 hours I didn't know what to do with. So I said, well, I had to do something. There wasn't much money involved, invested in becoming real estate. You didn't have any inventory.
Yeah.
I worked out of my house, so I didn't have any rent. And later my wife joined me in around 1962, and she still has her broker's license, and she more or less retired from it around 1982.
Okay. You've hired other people along this period of time, right?
I can't begin to remember the people I've been associated with and the places where we've been. We've had offices in 2 or 3 different places downtown, and before we came up here. We worked twice in Mark Berry's professional building. We were over to Victor Pod's for 2 years. At one time, a long time ago, I had a branch office where Chauvin's Insurance Company is today. And then when Gene Chauvin, not Gene, Gene's father, he had an insurance company over the Myers building back in the 50s or sometime, and I had a branch office in there. So I've been around downtown Realty Point, different places.
And you moved up here when? You're right next to the Lakeview? Lakewood. Sorry out there. Lakewood. How long have you been?
We've been here about 2 years.
And this really started to pop once you moved out here, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, we're on the 2nd floor down at Pod's. Lovely place, nice people, and it's great down there. And but having a real estate office on the 2nd floor is not really the best thing for real estate.
Right. Well, now I was going to ask you. I got to be careful how I ask this. Real estate's been very rewarding for you, and I don't necessarily mean money. I mean, you've met a lot of people.
It's one of been my most enjoyable parts of my life. Customs also. I like people. I like to meet people, and I meet a lot of people in Customs, obviously, and I've met a lot of people in real estate, and I would like to think that we have established a decent reputation over the years. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be in business if we hadn't done something right.
Absolutely.
We've had a few people that maybe had a couple of situations with, but nothing serious. It's been rewarding in the fact that I am always happy to accommodate a seller and see him happy because he sold his house, he got some money. I'm happy to see the buyer get the house of their dreams, maybe the first. It's a very happy occasion when this is done. And of course the broker makes some money out of it also. And I haven't become a millionaire as a result of it. Some people think I might have, but it's been rewarding mostly for keeping my mind busy and just helping people out. It's a service you have in the community, and I think that this is one of the reasons also that I got involved, because this service was not available back when I started. There was no real estate brokers here, and I see it becoming more of a demand, and as time goes on, because the area here is, as you know, is
right, absolutely. Busy. Now, Frank, I don't like an all-encompassing question, but I don't know how to do this otherwise, but I'm not going to go back to 1956, but let's say so in the late 60s, early 70s, say 20 years ago to now, how has real estate changed in our immediate area here in this town of Champlain, for instance?
What changed it a lot was the interstate. That opened up a lot of avenues. Up until then, we had Route 9 was our main route south, Route 11 was our main route west, but when the interstate came down from Montreal, it opened up a lot of business in the area, and it was active back then. It's still active, becoming more active due to the expansions of Harris and other people in the area, and the government services are brought in and brought up their staffs. It's going to remain, has been, and I can't see where it's changed so much. It was busy in the 70s, and maybe in the 80s when we had that slight recession there, it slowed down, but the potential's there.
Is it true that you bought about 3 miles of lakefront 20 years ago, and now you're reaping all that harvest of this new?
No, that was another person.
That was another person. That wasn't you. But that has really changed this lakefront, huh?
I guess so.
What's lakefront going for now?
Well, if it's good lakefront, if you're talking $400 to $500 a front foot. I've got 2 lots out on the lake here now that's 200 feet by 200 feet. It's a lovely piece of frontage. It's on the market for $145,000. No buildings on it. That's just land.
Right.
And it just doesn't exist. It's just a demand for it.
Unbelievable.
It's not there.
And it's ready to build on, no?
Oh, yeah.
Ready to build
on.
All right, we're going to take a short break. Let Calvin rest his shoulder. Bob Venn at Kavanaugh Realty this morning in Rouse's Point. It's the day after St. Patrick's, and Calvin is with the camera as usual, and we'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in to Hometown Cable. Frank, I want to talk about the Kavanaugh family now. You mentioned your wife, retired here in '82. You live here in just off Maple Street. What about the rest of the family and the children?
We have 5 children. And Bobby,
you didn't only sell real estate.
No, well, it's a long, cold winter, you know.
All right.
And when I came down here in '45, I met my wife shortly after I arrived here, and we were married in 1946, January.
Was she from Rouse's Point?
Yeah, she's from Rouse's Point.
What was her maiden name?
Mitchell.
Oh, of course,
Dave
I knew
Mitchell,
that. Of
Dave
course.
Mitchell's sister.
Okay.
And her mother's still alive. She's 96 years old. Still lives down on Clinton Street.
God, you got a long way to go.
And shoveled her driveway and all that stuff. Anyway, so then there's Kathy. She's a school teacher in the local system up at the senior high school. And then there's Chrissy. She's a customs broker down in Boston, Massachusetts. And she dropped Hunt and go over to Brian. Brian lives in Rouse's Point, and he works over at Derringer's. And then there's Maureen, and Maureen she works up at the golf club in the summertime, and she and her husband live over on Delaware Street.
No wonder the brokers like you. My gosh, they got half your family working for them. You got one for 3 different brokers?
And 3 or 4 of them got real estate licenses too.
Right.
But none wanted to follow that.
All right. Now, we've been trying to see you before. We never seem to be able to catch you here at the right time, Frank. But the rumor has it that you've been wanting to have more time off in the last several years, and you've taken steps back in the '80s.
I love real estate, but there comes a time in everybody's life when you have to set aside these things, and I like to spend more time with my wife and do the things that we haven't been able to do, because when you're in a business, either you're in it or you're out of it. And if you're in the business, you got to be around to watch it and see that it's done right. And it's sort of restricted us from things we'd like to do. We'd like to do more traveling. So we plan on doing that. And so we were looking for somebody to come along that would be in a good position to take over the operation. And this is where we got.
Wait.
We
So
don't get into that.
Back in '85 here, Nancy LeClaire came into this business.
Nancy came in 1985-86, and she came in as my partner, and it's been a terrific, to say the least, help in running the organization, and added a great deal of.
Yeah, isn't that when you got more office away from the house?
Yeah.
About that time, right?
Nancy and I were down in Mark Berry's office on Lake Street.
And that's when I think it's when you get away from the house, I think you become more of a. I don't want to use the wrong word here, but you become more of a authentic, so to speak. You know, they aren't going to your house, they aren't imposing on you, and they say, let's just stop and...
Not interrupting your meals.
Exactly. And I think from then it started to... As a matter of fact, I bought a couple of houses through Nancy.
That's right.
And she's taken me to many others to see, and very, very...
Nancy has, I'll let her speak for herself, but she has a good background in real estate. She was with WJ for many years over there with John Zerlo and Jim Siegel.
Okay, so you progressed there for the next 6-7 years, and then now you said, I want even more time off.
Exactly.
So what happened?
Well, I said to Joey one day, I says...
Joey who?
Joey Trombley, yeah.
All
I should
right.
mention his name.
Yeah, we better know who Joey
Joey came
is.
in one day, and I said, this would be a good business for you to take over. And Joey just laughed and said, well, yeah, ha, ha, ha. So time went on. It worked around to the point where Joey became serious, and I couldn't think of anybody any better qualified. He's a local fellow from the area and comes from a very nice family, and he has a good experience and background in real estate. Been in it for 6 or 7 years down in Plattsburgh. So you like to turn your business over to somebody who can continue on with the same ideas you've got. And I'm sure that Joey and his staff will be more than adequate to do it.
And kept the name, too. Right?
Oh, yeah, they kept
the name, sure.
Yeah.
See, you remember Joey Trombley was with Northern Blacktopping. We did this story. He showed us how to coat our driveways and so forth. He liked being on television so much that he figured if he bought another business, we'd probably come in and talk with him.
Well, I know he's looking forward to it.
He is, huh?
He's back on TV again.
Frank, listen, it's a pleasure seeing you. And how many years now you been out?
Well, I've been on a custom since 1977.
77?
Yeah, that's when I retired.
I didn't miss you for several years. Is it that long?
Yes, it is.
And you're still getting that money from Uncle Sam? You aren't going to refuse it now because you sold the business.
Well, no, I keep it, because it comes in handy.
But these grades have jumped since then, Everybody's getting bigger grades since then,
A lot of action over there.
Yes.
From what I hear.
Okay, this smiley face right here. Tell Frank you saw him on TV, and here's a real first-class, high-rated man right here. Well thought of, and I'm glad you're going to have more time for yourself. And stop in when you're going by now. You'll have more time to speak.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Frank. Thanks. Frank Kavanaugh Realty. We'll be right back with one of the new owners, or the new owner. We'll have to find out what that story is. Joey Trombley, the son of Mr. Orville and Noella. I never can say that. Noella Trombley, and a first cousin of that man with the camera, Calvin Castine. For you people who have been paying attention, no, this is not Joey. We're back with Frank because when Frank started telling me about his family, I interrupted him with another question back there. And I think we skipped one child way back in the beginning.
They skipped Bobby.
Listen, let me tell you this. Orville Trombley skipped one of the children one time. He never heard the end of it, so we wanted to skip Bobby. You started talking about him, but I think his name came up. Yeah. Bobby is where?
Bobby's down in New Jersey, and he works for one of the local brokerage firms down there.
Well, you better give their name and mention the others.
Well, F.W. Myers and Company.
F.W. Myers, huh?
He started out with him, and he was away from him for a few years, but he's back. He's been with him for a long time, and he likes his work. And his wife and son live down in New Jersey.
We're very fortunate, Frank, to have these 6 or 7 brokerage firms, and we have, I think, 4 of the 5 biggest in the country right here in our midst, and they hire a lot of people, and they're nice people, and who knows better but you, with 3 of them working for these brokers.
Yep.
Okay, Frank, then on this time I'm going to let you go for good. And here it is, 20 of 11. You're finished for the day now?
Take off for Vermont.
Take off for Vermont. Okay, goodbye. Again, this is not Joey, as I said. We're going to talk to the interim period when the Kavanaugh Realty went from a home business to an office, and that's when Kavanaugh Realty started to flow. Nancy LeClaire, and a fixture now for 7 years?
About 6.5.
6.5. Well, you are precise, aren't you? 6.5, not 7. I said about. Good gosh. Well, what was I going to say now? I was going to ask your age, but don't say about, but I'm not going to ask you your age.
No, I just have to look.
Nancy, you're from Champlain.
Yes, yes.
I think I saw your mom yesterday when we were voting, right?
Oh, you probably did.
Your mom is?
Laura Trombley.
Yes, she's in the senior housing now. Route 9 fixture for a long time.
Oh, many years, many years.
Your mom is how? Would she care if we gave her age on TV? You think she's in her?
She's in her 80s.
In her 80s. The Kavanaughs and the LeClaire, the Trombleys rather, were the older residents in our area.
Right, absolutely.
All right. Tell us about your background. In real estate, maybe.
Okay, I became involved with real estate when I was working in a law office, and this was rather an avocation. And to become a realtor, you must take 45 hours of courses.
45 hours to say, would you like to buy this house? There's a lot more to it than that?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Tell us that
It's
a
a
little bit.
45-hour qualifying course, and you do it through continuing ed, and there's a state exam and also a class exam.
Is that right? I didn't realize there were that many hours.
Then you must take qualifying courses thereafter. And then to become a broker, there's another 45 hours that you must take.
So first time you're not a broker, you're a...
Just a salesperson, just a
all
realtor.
right. Okay, so you are a broker
I'm a
also?
broker. I'm considered an associate broker because Frank is a principal broker.
Okay.
And that, I did go to Ithaca for 1 week to take that concentrated 45 hours. And it was very enjoyable. They had great instructors and everything.
And you like this?
Yes, I do. I consider it a challenge.
And you're a good person. You've got a nice personality. I'm not trying to flatter you here because I've seen some houses with you, Nancy, and you know that I wasn't completely always interested in buying that house, but I was trying to compare it with something else.
Right, absolutely.
And people do that, right? We're
Yes,
trying
no
to
question.
compare around. All right. Now there came a time, like you say, in '85, you became a partner here with Frank in the business, and then you set up an office, as he mentioned, several places, and gradually coming here where things have really ballooned out.
Well, here was because of the visibility. We had
Yes,
far more visibility than we had, although we had a nice office prior to this, but we did not have the visibility.
Right. But of course, your signs on the road have always been very visible. You know, the Kavanaugh
Yes.
Realty signs and
Right.
so forth. Have they changed that? Maybe I'll ask Joey that. I see the colors have changed.
No, the colors are still the same.
Oh yeah, you had that cream-colored sign out there. I thought it was more of a white.
Oh, the one by the roadside. We decided to go with this lemon color because we thought it'd be more eye-catching.
Oh, a lemon. I noticed that Frank was wearing a lemon-colored sweater this morning too. I didn't realize there was a.
Okay, but our realtor signs are still primarily red, black, and white.
Okay.
Well,
now, can I assume that you're not here this morning then when the business has been sold just to meet us? You're still working?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're still active,
oh,
huh?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Right. I'm here. I'm available, and I do floor duty like the other salespeople do.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about your real estate background?
I don't think so. I've enjoyed it. Helping people find homes of their choice is really quite rewarding.
Well, Nancy, if you ever had to be a partner with somebody, it's pretty tough to have a nicer person than
Oh
Frank
yeah,
Kavanaugh. I'll
Frank
tell you.
is very very good.
He's a great person.
Oh yes, he's very flexible and
That's the word. That's the word I was thinking of. Even when he was working, he was flexible.
Right.
He got the job done.
Yes,
he got
right,
the job
absolutely.
Done. Okay, well, if you want to talk to this lady right here, it's Nancy LeClaire. You come in, ask her by name. We're located next to the Lakewood Market on Champlain Street. Kavanaugh Realty is our point this morning. I can't even think of a word to call Kavanaugh. We're going to meet now. I guess we're really going to go to talk to Joey Trombley. Thank you very much, Nancy, for talking with us.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'll try to get.
Did you ask for that? I really have to.
Well, you're looking at the way you spell the name and what the name looks like. You see there's an awful lot of plaques here on here. Nothing for softball, I see. However, this is what the face looks like right here. This is Joey Trombley. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning, Bob.
Congratulations on another business venture you're involved in here.
Thank you.
You've been an owner for how long?
About 2 months.
Okay.
I mean, with the Kavanaugh,
yes,
2 months.
and you've been talking, he mentioned over a year, you've been at least discussing.
Oh, about 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah, he's been after me for about 3 years to come up here to work with him, but I just didn't want to change for the change for sakes of changing, and so I talked to him this spring, or say early winter, January, February, and we talked about me buying him out because Frank wants to do a little more fishing and hunting. So this is where
I
we
thought
are.
you probably saved enough money by now to come in here and just pay for it. And
No.
you haven't done that, huh?
Remember you said Frank was flexible?
Yeah.
Thank God he's flexible.
Joey, we really had a lot of the good comments about your northern blacktopping that you did, and we saw you on TV just last week with the Lions Club with your winter weekend. That went over real well.
Yeah, I try to get involved with the community.
Sure do.
I enjoy dealing with the kids. I guess I'm a kid at heart, and it's fun.
I also saw you a week and a half ago on stage there in Shazy when you had the Once Upon a Mattress, huh?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. It took a lot of time, but it was fun. They needed somebody, and I said yes, and I enjoyed it.
Nice to have a person like you in the community, very rewarding for the community, and of course, it doesn't hurt your business either. You become your name is well known.
Well, I feel like I owe it to the community. I deal with the community, and they're good to me, and it's just a way of me giving back to the community, and I enjoy doing it.
Okay. Now, Joey, so that at this point, then you're into the still northern blacktop. You're not going to give that up.
No,
no,
I'm still business. It's
Well,
family
yeah.
business. I
Hey,
guess.
you can't. You got to, right? Yeah, you owe it to your mom and dad. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So now you came. How long have you been in real estate business?
1985. I started out with Cronin Realty in Plattsburgh, and I was with them up until this point. Right here, this was very nice for my broker in Plattsburgh, Dick Cronin. He was my mentor, I should say, in real estate. He's the one that trained me, and we left on very good terms. And he wrote me a very nice letter that he sent to all the board members.
Isn't that nice?
And it was very nice. We left on, like I said, we left on good terms, and it meant a lot to me.
Very much so that by showing that it was ERA Cronin Realty, don't hurt your feeling when we show that on camera.
Not at all. They're an excellent
They made you what you are.
Yes.
And you've made some pretty good honors here. $1 million club here and $1 million club again, huh?
Yeah, this one here was Granite State in '87. It's like all the Northeast. I was in the top 10 in different categories in '87.
Well, now you're going to bring that right over here to Kavanaugh now, and just be careful, E.R. Cronin, right now, because you're going to take over this county.
No, I'm not. No. Hey, I'm a North Country boy. I've been brought up here, and it's just nice to come back to this area. And not that I really ever left the area, but working up here out of Plattsburgh, it's like being back in the area.
Well, let's remind the people again who Joey Tremblay is. You're born in Champlain.
Yeah, 1961.
Noella and Orville Tremblay are your parents.
Correct.
You've got 6 or 7. Your father didn't know for sure. You didn't know for sure, Orville. 6 or 7 brothers or sisters?
6 of us.
6 of us, okay. And you got into real estate. You're into the blacktop. You did that when you were young, obviously, too, helping Dad.
Yeah, yes, I did. That was what I did in the summers when I was going to school.
You play some softball. You're a pitcher.
Yeah, I'm a pitcher for
You
softball.
win many games?
We've won many games, but we've kind of took it in the short end in the playoffs the last couple
You
of
did,
years.
huh? Well, now, I don't know if I should ask this, but boy, is there any chance of a Kavanaugh Realty softball team, you think, in the future?
No.
Nope, there you are.
Well, because I play for Barcomb's TV, and they've been sponsoring for God knows how long.
Who's Barcomb's TV? What does that mean in this area?
Frenchie Barcomb.
Oh, that nice furniture TV store out on Route 9?
Yes, the fine sponsor of Hometown Cable.
Sponsor on this cable?
Absolutely.
I think they're in Florida right now, too. I think they were leaving for Florida. I think
They're in Florida right now.
Okay.
Randy's running the store with Randy.
And taking care of the house.
Taking care of the house.
Okay. Tell us a little bit. You've been here for less than 2 months or
Right.
2 months, and I'm seeing all kind of people out there I never saw before. What'd you do to this place?
Well, because I had a lot of training from Dick, and I brought those ideas up to the Northern Tier. Before they didn't have a secretary, and Cindy came on as a secretary.
Who's Cindy?
My sister.
Okay.
One of the 6.
Okay.
And she came on. She has a real estate license also, which is handy. If one of us are busy and someone calls for about real estate, she can answer questions for them because she has a license.
Has she been working in real estate?
Part-time with Frank for about a year.
Okay. Oh, okay.
She just had her license.
Yeah.
She wasn't really that active, but she had her license. And one thing that we're doing here is, and you'll probably see it later on, is a computer system. She's also running work for Kavanaugh and Northern Blacktopping. So a lot of work that I did as far as clerical went for Northern Blacktopping, she's handling now. So it actually makes my job easier.
Did the computer come in with you?
Yes, I brought that
You
over.
brought that over. All right.
Right.
And then you have a couple other. I saw an ad in the paper that 2 new people were coming to work.
Right. Linda Seymour. She was at Cronin, and she lives in Moores, and a majority of her work was done in the northern tier.
This is who? Paul or Robert?
Paul's wife.
Paul. All right.
And it just made sense for her to come up here because most of her work was done up here. And I worked with her at Cronin, and she wanted to come up. And then Andre the Fountain lives in Shazy. He was working on a Dahlbeck agency out of Keysville. And he works at Eris on the night shift, so it was a long trip for him. So he wanted to come up here with me. So we have Andre and Linda, myself. Nancy and Frank are still going to be selling. Pat Viennes is here quite a bit. Pam Marr. I don't want to forget anybody here. There's Chuck Roush, who works at Eris. My mind's going blank. Maybe there's something else I forgot. But
Now, real estate, you don't always work 8 to 5. You can't, right?
No.
People are working. You can't show them a house.
right, we have office hours from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and Saturdays 9 to 1, and then by appointments afterwards. But yeah, you could be showing property on Sundays, Saturdays, evenings. It really depends. You try to do it for the schedule of the people you're dealing with.
There's been no general announcement that you're the new owner of Kavanaugh Realty, has there?
Not yet. Well, because basically it's just verbally at this point. We're hoping that April 1st we'll actually sign the papers.
Temporary owner. Temporary owner here. But you're hearing it first on Hometown Cable. It'll be signed by the time you see this, probably.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Now, does this mean that you work in the town of Champlain only?
No, we do all over the North Country. We mainly, our main area is the northern tier. I would probably say from like Plattsburgh north is, and then as far west as Altona and Ellenburg.
Okay, there's a couple questions I have. You got those same hours as Nancy, 45 to become a salesperson, another 45 to become a broker?
Correct.
Is there anything beyond there where you go on?
Other than every 4 years, we have to maintain a 45 hours of continuing ed in the field of real estate.
Why do you have to do that?
Just so that you stay on top of the industry. It's constantly changing, and they just want to give you courses that you just stay on top of the industry.
I thought it was just, I want to buy that house, and I want to sell it, and you put them together, and that's it.
No.
I mean, it's more than that.
Yeah, it really is.
I thought you got paid a lot of money for just that little tiny bit of work. You do a lot more than that.
Yeah, well, and actually, since you brought that up,
Go ahead.
no, I'll let the public know on what
Yeah,
the
please
structure
do.
goes,
Yeah.
because it's very interesting. And I'm going to use commissions are negotiable, and but I'm going to use the standard 6%.
Please do.
commission.
What you're going to tell me now is what usually happens on a person wants to sell a house. It has to be on before the guy that buys it, obviously.
Well, okay, they'll contact us. They want to put their house on the market. What we do is what we call a market analysis, market value CMA, competitive market evaluation, and it's the same thing as an appraisal, but we can't call it an appraisal now because now you have to have a license to be an appraiser. So we do the same thing that an appraiser will do, and what we do is we inspect the property, and we try to find comparable homes that have sold in the past year within the area if you can. Now, no 2 homes are exactly alike, but if you're looking at a one-level home, which they call a ranch, you try to find 3 ranches that have sold. Then you take off for square footage, if there's a garage, fireplace, whatever the case may be, and you come up with a value, and you try to let the people know what fair market value is, and fair market value is what the public's willing to pay and what a seller's willing to sell for.
You mentioned other homes in the area. How big of an area would that be, say, in Champlain or town of Champlain? Would you go into the town of Beekmantown?
No.
No.
If I'm working with a home in Champlain, then I'll probably use a home in Champlain, maybe Shazy.
Okay.
If it's in the village of Champlain, I'll use a house in the village of Rouse's Point.
Okay. Now, at this point, you've done the CMA, right?
Right.
Have they hired you yet to try to sell their house?
No, at this point, we go over the market analysis with them.
Okay.
They have the final say of what they want to put on the market. We try to keep them within market value. At that point, if they agree to the terms, then we then have a listing agreement with them.
All right, let's just stop you now. The guy says, I'm not ready really to put it up, Joey, but what do I owe you for the CMA?
It depends. if they're really thinking of selling, then we probably won't charge them anything. If somebody comes up to us and they just want to know the value of their home,
Check their assessment.
check their assessment, could be a divorce,
Yes.
whatever the case is, then we charge $200 for the CMA.
So it's kind of comprehensive, really comprehensive.
Yes.
All right. Now, they said, okay, we'd like to put it on the market for sale. How do I do that, Joey? How do I
Okay.
put my house up?
Sitting down like we are right now,
Yes.
I go over a standard agreement with the people that is used by everybody in the board of realtors. We put down the asking price, what the sales fee will be, or the commission, as people know it. They sign it, and then we have a listing agreement.
Okay, well, I know a little bit more about this than maybe the average person does, or the person that hasn't sold a property. Let's take now, there's two ways that I could sign this contract with you, right?
Okay.
Exclusive
Okay,
or
yes.
non-exclusive? Explain the difference in that.
Exclusive right to sell, and there's an exclusive agency.
Okay.
In Clinton County, we're an exclusive right to sell. Under an exclusive right to sell is if we bring a buyer to your house and you agree on a price, then you owe the sales fee. If another office sells the house, you still owe us a sales fee. We co-broke with them.
How can they sell my house if I've got an exclusive contract with you?
Okay? Because you're
I
going.
don't want all those other people in my house. I only want your people.
No, you'd want everybody.
I would.
Because what happens when you come on the market, there are two reasons why you go with a realtor, basically. One is you want total market exposure. The way you do that is when you come on with a realtor, we belong to a board of realtors, there's 100 right now, 122 agents that would have access to sell your house. What you've done is you've opened it up to 122 people that can sell your house. Where here we have about 6 or 7 people. So your chances are greater getting a higher price sale for your house and quicker if we open it up to the public.
If I got to let those 122 people, agencies come in my house and look at it so they'll know how to sell it?
No.
Before they even make an attempt to sell it?
Sometimes the offices will call us and say, I want to go into Mr. Ben's house. We want to go tomorrow at 4 o'clock, and I'll call you for an appointment. Can this office go through? So some offices will send their people through, 7, 8 people. That's to your benefit for 2 reasons. One, if they go through the house and they've been working with somebody for a while, they know they get a feel what the person's looking for, they can go back and call their person up. 2, if they get a phone call at the office, they can talk intelligently about your property. So it's better for them to go through the properties. But the thing is, when we have the exclusive right to sell, we control the listing. So if another office wants to go in, they call us. We call you for an appointment. So we try to give you a 24-hour notice so you know somebody's coming through. So it's very well detailed, and it's not haphazard, I guess.
Okay. We'll take a short break. We'll be right back. We'll keep about where we are. We just started talking about the exclusive
right to sell.
Exclusive right to sell, but we're going to come back and tell you a lot of other things. Please don't leave. You're watching What's Going On here. Bob Venn, Calvin Castan on the camera, and of course our guest this morning is Kavanaugh Realty. And who better but the new owner himself, Joey Tremblay of Champlain and Shazy's fame. We're trying to teach you a little bit about real estate and what it means, and that they aren't boogeymen, and they also are not the all-encompassing going to sell your house in a week either. Those times are gone.
Well, I've seen where you can sell a house in a day, and I've seen it take a year.
There you go. And all in between. Right?
And all in between.
Okay, we're talking about the exclusive right
To sell.
to sell. All right.
Okay, we got into on the third one is under exclusive right to sell. You're at your home watching TV one night. Someone drives up and you let them through the house. And in essence, you sold the house, they want to buy it. You still owe us the sales fee. We wouldn't recommend that you do that only because you've hired us to do a job. But that's an exclusive right to sell. Under an exclusive agency. Okay, go ahead.
Once I sign that, is that forever?
No.
Is there a limited period
usually
of
we
time?
go 6 months.
Okay, I beg if you mentioned I missed it. 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally, because right now the marketing time in the northern tier is approximately 4 months. From the
Okay.
time you put it on to the time it will sell.
Okay. But anybody can sell the house, and I would pay you what our agreed amount, and then if there's any co-division of the... Co-broke, right?
We would personally pay them half
All right.
of what we
Well,
agreed.
what is this amount of money that I would have to pay? Is it a percentage? Is it a flat fee? Or?
No, it's a percentage. I'm just going to use a hypothetical
Okay.
figure out of 6%.
Okay.
And what I want to do is give a breakdown of how that money is split.
Okay.
Because there's a misconception on, they'll think that, we'll say like Linda Seymour sells a house at 6%, Linda Seymour gets 6%, and that's not totally true. Now use a $50,000 house as
Okay.
an example. 6% is $3,000. If Linda Seymour lists the house, put it on the market.
What do you mean list the house?
She put it on the market. You signed an exclusive right to sell listing with her.
With this particular firm?
With this agent.
Okay.
Okay. If it sells for $50,000, she would get $750 of the $3,000
As her commission?
as her commission.
From Kavanaugh Realty?
Right.
Okay.
If Andre LaFountain in this office sells that same listing and she listed it and Andre gets a sale, Andre gets $750.
All right.
Kavanaugh Realty would get $1,500. The company Kavanaugh
Oh,
Realty.
so Cassie, by listing it, would also get an amount once it's sold?
Right.
Just for listing it?
Just for listing
Being the person who... So that's why you're out there trying to get people to sign with Kavanaugh. The person who signs it, not Kavanaugh, the person who signed it would get part of that commission.
Yes. Well, see, also
25%.
right, but also the buyers they're all out there. You don't even have to look for buyers. You can be in a store and someone say, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, I'm looking.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to try to find inventory. So that, and we're also finding inventory because we have a list of buyers, but we need the inventory to show them.
Right. So that it's very important, of course, to be the person who's going to list, right?
Yeah, because let's just say that person, we'll take Linda Seymour, lists this property, and Century 21 sells it. Linda gets $750. The agent from Century 21 would get $750. Kavanaugh Realty gets $750, and Century 21, the company, would get $750.
All right.
So it's not the agent getting the whole amount of money.
Okay, so we're talking about Linda. So Linda would get that in addition to her salary?
No, she's strictly on commission.
Oh, excuse me. See, there is no salary. So if she
No.
don't sell, she don't get paid.
Right.
But does that cause people, not necessarily here, but anywhere else, to be a little too pushy in selling houses? Are there some salesmen that are a little pushy, Joe?
Well, there's bad apples in any profession, and yeah, there are some people like
You
that.
get to me $1 million club by being pushy?
No,
No,
No.
by being non-pushy, probably.
that's your best way.
Okay.
When a person's buying a house, my job when I'm working with a buyer is when I have the knowledge of financing, I have the knowledge of the things necessary to run this transaction from the beginning to the end. The house will sell itself. I have access to get into a bunch of homes. They don't need a pushy agent saying, this home's for you.
Yeah.
They'll know it when they get in there. Once they see the house they like, the house will sell itself. I can just lead them to that. So it's not being pushy that way. When it comes time to sell, I wouldn't say it's being pushy, but I firmly believe that everybody that's selling their property should have a real estate agent. If it was that easy, we wouldn't be in business. And talking to attorneys, there are attorneys that would rather deal with people that have a real estate agent than not, because we're up on everything. We can take care of things. So I firmly believe everybody should have their house on the market with an agent. So, I will go in and I'll try to explain the benefits of going with us. But that's not going to sit in your house all night till you sign a contract. If you don't want to do it, then that's fine.
When you go to a house to buy it or to sell it, are you working for the buyer or the seller?
The seller. And as of January 1st of this year, there's a new disclosure law that anybody that calls this office, we have to first tell them that we work for the seller. Now, what that means when we work for the seller is that they're paying our fee. I can still deal with the buyer fairly and honestly. I have to lead them to the best possible financing available. If there's anything wrong with the house, I have to let them know about it. The only thing that I cannot tell a potential buyer is what a seller's bottom line is. So I'll use as an example a $50,000 house. If you say, Joey, if I can get 44, I'll be happy. I cannot tell that to a buyer. So when they come in, we have you sign a form that we understand we work for you, the seller. When a buyer comes in, we have to have them sign a form, which is law now by New York State, and it doesn't bind them to anything other than that they realize when they work with us that we work for the seller because they pay our fee.
Okay. All right. Now, I don't want to ask the wrong questions here, but I don't mean derogatory to any of these.
No.
You're not in business just to sell houses. You like to have the income too. That's what business is about. If I'm a buyer and I come to you and say I'm looking for a house in the Shazy area, and we go there, and of course you want me to buy that house so you can get your commission from the seller. You follow me so far?
Okay.
All right. And I say, well, now, Joey, they want $50,000 for that house. I'd like to offer less.
Okay.
Right? I'd like to offer $46,000.
Okay.
Now, have you got a right to tell the seller that, because you know I'm really serious, that you should take that?
Okay.
Because you're gonna get commission as soon as you do.
Okay. It depends on so many situations. If
Okay,
your house
I
has been
realize.
on the market for 8
Okay.
months and we finally get a legit offer, or if it's just on for a day, I may make suggestions. Well, I think we might be able to get higher. You may want to
Okay.
counter, but by law, we have to present every offer that is given to us to a seller.
Okay.
Now, working for the seller, I may say to the seller, in my opinion, I don't think this is a good offer. I think you can get more. But it depends on the situations. That's a vague question because I got.
Okay.
It
all
depends
right.
on the circumstances.
Okay. Could it also be your duty to tell the seller, why don't you come back with a counter offer?
Oh, sure.
That's something you would do it probably.
Oh, sure.
Why
Sure.
don't you say 49 or 48 or whatever?
I may even suggest that they take it.
Or did they take it, or they don't take it, but give them the rugs, or give them the curtains, or something
Whatever,
to go with
but
it,
but it
right?
depends on the situation.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about exclusive right to sell.
Right.
What about the other way? What other way is there?
The exclusive agency, which we do not use in Clinton County.
What does that mean?
Okay, under an exclusive agency, in front of your house, you could have 6 realtor signs. You just let everybody come put their sign on it. Whoever sold the property would get the sales fee. So the other agents wouldn't get anything. Where that doesn't help you is, see, once a firm takes your house on the market, they then go into an expense of marketing your property.
Right.
We don't get anything unless we produce.
I realize.
Okay, so if 6 months go by and we haven't sold your property, we've had an expense that we've lost because we did not produce and sell your property. So if you go with an exclusive agency, which we won't do in Clinton County, if 5 officers put their signs out there, their incentive to market your property is diminished because they don't get anything. Because whoever sells it gets everything.
Regardless of, should I sign a contract with all of them?
Sure.
Oh, well, what about the one, is there a contract where I would sign with you and nobody else could sell it?
Well,
that's what-
that's called a pocket listing.
I thought at one time that was called the exclusive listing, where only you could show the house, only you could take it in. Can you do that in this county?
You can, but
Don't make any
but
sense,
it doesn't
right?
make any sense for you to do that.
All right.
Because why would you care who sells your property?
Okay.
You want your property
Okay.
sold.
Let us say now that the house is, maybe you already said it, let's say another real estate, ERA Cronin, sells the house that you listed for 50, and maybe you already gone through that. They would get 1,500, and you get 1,500 of the 3,000.
Right.
And then you divide that
With the agent.
The person who sold it gets half, and your agency gets half.
That's correct.
And then at the other location, the person who made the sale gets half, and the agency gets half.
That's correct.
All right. Now, who pays for the advertising in the paper? The person who listed?
The listing agency absorbs the expense for that, yes.
All right. So that, what if I had my house for sale and I don't see my picture up there very often? I see the other houses up there an awful lot. Do I pay extra to get my house in the paper more often?
No. Usually it goes in, depending on how many listings are in the office, it just goes in a cycle.
Okay.
But no, that,
Right. How do you know what houses the other 121 agencies have for sale so that you can go out and try to sell that house?
the multiple listing book.
What
here.
does that mean? A multiple listing book?
Okay, the multiple listing book is the book used by the Clinton County Board of Realtors. Right now, there is, well, I don't know if Calvin can zero in on this,
You probably can.
but these are all the real estate firms and their agents. Right now, there's 122 agents in Clinton County.
In Clinton County, agents?
Agents in Clinton County.
Agents, not agencies.
No, agents.
Agents, okay.
Agencies, I'd have to add them up. I don't
Okay.
know, probably 15.
Okay.
But with that agency, all of the listings that we have go into this book. So it's like a one-stop shopping.
Okay, this gives a picture,
Picture and description. And the
description,
price.
how many rooms and what their asking price, how much the taxes are, whether it's a wood stove, whether it's a fireplace,
Right.
dishwasher. For instance, this house here says new windows, vinyl siding, lovely kitchen. This home is in excellent condition and in a great neighborhood. Walk to schools, churches, post office, and store. And that's what this house has. Now, do each of your salesmen have access to this book?
Yeah, we each get one.
They each get one.
Right. Now, what's nice, and I'd recommend this for anybody out there that's looking for, okay, with agents that you're comfortable with, before I go any further, let's get Linda Seymour, an agent that I'm comfortable with, before she has to go.
She's got to go.
She's gotta go.
Okay,
So
Linda
we'll get her on
Seymour
camera.
from Moores, New York, right?
Yes.
Okay, we'll get Linda, and then we'll be right back to our multiple listings, and we'll tell you all about this book and how you can use it. We can see right off the bat I'm in better company now than I just was with Joey. This is Linda Seymour?
Yes.
Hi, Linda, and this is Paul, right? Mm-hmm. Were you one of those Seymours at Manette's Furniture, or are you?
I was.
You was.
I was.
Now, Bob and Paul, are they brothers?
They're brothers.
They're brothers, and they were together at the... So you worked in the store also?
Occasionally.
Occasionally. And then, now that has been dissolved, and Robert's running the store.
Yeah.
And what's Paul doing?
Paul is working for the Prudential, and he does financial services, sells life insurance.
Okay.
So-
And you're also the business lady trying to sell real estate.
Yes, I am.
How long have you been in the real estate business?
This is my 4th year.
You enjoying it too?
Very much.
It's a great job, I think, for, I don't know if I can use the word housewife anymore, but if you have children.
Homemaker.
You have children?
Yes, I
Homemaker?
do.
So
We
that
have
this how
two.
you can work your hours around your family when they come home from school and so forth?
Yes.
You can work evenings when you're... You show a lot of houses in the evening also?
It depends. It depends. We try to work around the buyer's schedule, and sometimes they do shift work. We try to work around that and make ourselves available.
A real beehive in here this morning. Can I assume that you're not usually all here like this?
Well, we're getting busy, and that's we do make a lot of noise in here.
But a lot of your time, of course, is out of the office, right?
Yes.
That's when you
yes.
make money. You can't make money in the office very much, can you?
That's right. Not unless we're meeting somewhere.
If a person comes in right now with all these people in the office, who grabs them? I say, I want to buy a house. You take turns, or?
That would be Andre. He's on floor duty. We
Oh.
have 2 shifts a day, one from 9 until 1, and then 1 till 5. So he would take the client coming in the door.
Okay, so if you think you're being ignored when you come into an office like this, you're not. The person may be on the phone, and when he's off the phone, he's going to handle you, right?
That's right.
Oh yeah, they say they got it's not like a restaurant where they all got their own section. They got their own times in here. Okay, where are you from, Linda? Before you
I'm originally from Potsdam.
Potsdam State too?
Potsdam State? No.
No, you didn't go to school in Potsdam.
No,
All right.
I go to school in Potsdam.
Okay, so how many hours do you put in this course of a week?
Oh, it depends.
Give or take, huh?
I usually do 2 shifts at the office for answering telephones. I make calls in the evening. It's kind of hard to get it right now.
Okay, I can remember I was a salesman
Yeah.
for a while, and I can always remember my first sale. Do you remember your first house you sold?
Oh, yes, I do.
How many hours had you put in before that first sale?
Just a few weeks.
Just a few, oh?
I had a Canadian buyer that walked into the office. At that time, I was with ERA Cronin Realty in Plattsburgh, and she wanted a house and paid $45,000 cash for it.
Wow.
That was my first sale.
And you
it was
slept very well that night.
Very well.
You see, this is a good business,
Yes,
eh?
yes.
It can get discouraging at times when you go every day. Of course, you build up a clientele, right? Or you build up a listing.
Yes, yes, you
It takes
do.
a while. You can't sell everybody out the first
No.
time through, obviously.
And it's been a rough year, but it's getting better.
Okay. Hey, what else can you tell me about real estate? Or
Well, what would you like to know?
I wish I knew the questions to ask you here. All right. You never stop in unannounced when you go to a house, is that right? You always let the owner know?
Yes, yes.
Does the owner have to be home?
No, they do not. Sometimes we keep a key to the house, and we call the owner and say that so-and-so will be there at 10 o'clock on Friday, whatever the case may be, and we have a key here, or they leave the door, they're home.
Okay.
They leave the door unlocked, and
All
when we
right.
go in,
And-
and they're there.
And you
whatever.
say, don't leave any dirty dishes in the sink?
Keep everything nice and tidy.
Nice and tidy. The way these people are going to buy your house, want
That's
to,
right. That's right.
Some houses obviously are harder to sell than others,
Yes.
right? There's some quirk about them or whatever. What kind of houses do you feel are selling better in the area? 2-story or 1-story, for instance?
I don't think one sells any.
Not even
better
one,
than
not better than the other.
No. As long as they're in good condition, fairly good condition, don't need a lot of work, nice area, we don't have any problems.
Who makes the decision of buying a house, the woman or the man?
Usually it's the woman.
The
I
woman.
think.
Oh, well, all right. You
She
know,
really
you know
likes it,
she'd
she'll
say
get it.
that, right? Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Now we'll get this popular question. What are the 2 rooms the women pays most attention to in the house when they go in?
I would say the kitchen and the bathroom.
That's what I've heard all the time, and it is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you have a nice clean kitchen, shiny bathrooms, that's a big plus.
The 1-bathroom houses sell very well.
Well, it's better to have 2.
Better to have 2, no?
Better to have 3 bedrooms rather than 2, but there's a buyer for everything.
Okay. And you went to the 45 hours like Nancy too
Yes.
before you started? Did you have to go away to do that in Plattsburgh?
Well, sometimes you do. We were fortunate enough to have a course that came to Plattsburgh at the Comfort Inn, so we took that.
Nice to have met Linda Seymour, and we wish you good luck in the. I can't say I hope you sell every house because that Joey wouldn't sell it, neither would Pat.
That's all right.
Okay. Hope you sell the house you're going to now.
Good.
Good. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you
Linda.
very much.
Linda Seymour, Kavanaugh Realty, Champlain, Rouse's Point Highway, Route 11 here, just next to the Lakewood Market. And this smiling lady lives in the former Charles Chandler home, a very
That's right.
popular, very well-known home in the Moores area. And Mr. Chandler, who was blind for many years, used to walk that mile into the community, I
Yes,
guess, every
he did.
day, right?
Very nice
Yeah.
family.
And you've done the house over, I think, haven't you?
We're in the
Working on it?
process.
Yeah,
It'll
I
take
see.
forever, I'm sure.
Beautiful home.
Thank you.
Okay. Seems way at the bottom. Okay, we're back on with Joey, and we're looking at the multiple listings books, which, by the way, it says here issue 28, 29, July 17th, 91. I mean, these are issued at least twice a year?
No, they come out every 2 weeks.
There's enough of a change every 2 weeks to make it worthwhile to
Oh
pick the
yeah,
book?
on the off weeks, well, we have new listings that come on the off week, and we don't get a book, but we get this form here blown up from all the other offices of new listings. So every week it's changing.
You know, I can remember when I bought a couple houses, I don't know, 8, 10 years ago. And when I wanted to know something about the house, they gave me a separate sheet that was photocopied, you know?
Right.
And I'd take that home, 2 or 3 of them. If I had this, excuse me, at home overnight, I could go through that like crazy. Can that be borrowed or?
Oh sure, it says here not for public distribution, but all the agents hand them out.
But they don't leave it. They don't give it to you. They just
No,
let you use it,
yeah,
right?
What I was earlier, I was stating how, and this is for potential buyers. What's nice with this book is because it is like a one-stop shopping. Find an agent that you're comfortable with and stay with that agent. It saves you from going to every office and going through the qualification process of where they'll qualify you, see how much home you can invest in. If you find one agent that you're comfortable with, they can help you buy anything in Clinton County because of the multiple listing, whether it's a Century 21, Caldwell Banker. So just stick with one agent that you feel comfortable with, and they can help you right to the end.
You're telling me, I think, I'm getting anyway, that I build up a relationship with a broker
Right.
so that I kind of pour out my soul, what I'm looking for, my wife's looking for, and you say, well, I know just what you're looking for now, and you look around to find that for me?
Sure. You don't. Instead of having to do that to 7 different offices, you do it with one office. Now, let's just say that we can't find anything for you in this book. I know what you're looking for. Well, in the off weeks, we have new listings that come on the market from all the offices. If I know what you're looking for, once I see that, I can call you right off before it hits hits the total public. So,
Yeah.
also working with an agent that's working for you, they can find you something before it even hits the market. I may be working on a listing that I know that Bob Ben would really like, because I've worked with him for the last 2 months.
Okay.
I give you a call, and then you find the house of your dreams.
Right. Is it my dream? That's great. Oh, that's a great line. My dream.
Well, as corny as this may sound, a realtor's job is to make people's dreams come true and to solve real estate problems. And what I use as a perfect example of that is, and I don't enjoy dealing with this, but it's a fact of life. Sometimes you deal with homes that people are getting divorced. They have a real estate problem. They're getting divorced. They got to split their stuff and go their ways. They got a problem. On this end, I'm working with somebody that has a dream of owning a home. So I'm dealing with one problem and dealing with the dream at the same time, and that's what our job is to do.
It's not very likely then, if I'm dealing with you, that I can go to a different broker and get that house any cheaper.
Oh no.
There's no reason to go to
you
another
can work
broker,
through
right?
any broker you want.
Right.
But it's not you can get anything. Not that you can get it any cheaper. It's just when you work with an agent that you feel comfortable with, you have that rapport with this person. That person knows what you're looking for, and they can just help you out.
Now, Joey, as the quote-unquote owner, you're going to be a corporation, I see. I saw the paper.
No.
Inc. I thought I saw that.
It is. It's Kavanaugh Realty Inc. right now.
Now it is.
We're incorporated.
Oh, okay.
It's sole proprietorship. It's just Kavanaugh Realty now.
Okay. It will be a corporation?
No, it's just gonna be Kavanaugh Realty.
It will. Okay. I mean, you say now, but April 1st you're going to sign papers. You said that's why.
Right. I have a DBA as Kavanaugh Realty.
Okay.
And I had to get permission from the
Okay.
state to do that.
Now, will you be selling houses too as the owner? Will you be
Oh, yeah,
active as a salesman?
Absolutely, yeah. and try to help the other agents out.
I'm going to hit you a real bad one now. Ready?
Right ahead.
What's to prevent an owner, except he loses employees, of taking all the fast-selling homes and keeping them himself, not having to give that something to his employees?
I won't have many
That a
employees.
bad
I won't have
question? Bad question?
No, not a bad question at all.
House
Number
account,
one,
in other words.
if I did that, I wouldn't have anybody in this office for any period of time. My goal is to help them to be as successful as they can be, and whether that's going out with them to help them market a home, whether they're working with a buyer and they need some help as far as financing and stuff, I'll help them. A couple times in this office already, I've talked to people who happen to mention other agents in the office, and I automatically gave it to those agents.
Because they talk. All right.
Sure.
Now, for every dollar they make, quote, that sold, you make the same
company,
amount.
yes.
Makes it, you already explained. 25, 25, 25, and
That's
25.
correct.
Now, if you list the house, which means that you get the contract signed, let's use Pat Viennes, for instance.
Sure.
He gets, so then if you sell that and his commission is $3,000, he gets $750, and you get the other $2,250.
If I
in that
listed it.
case. If you listed it, yeah.
That'd be correct, yeah. My 750 as a selling agent, and then
Okay.
the company would get the 1,500.
So the company who lists the market is automatically sure getting half of the commission. The company, including his employee,
Right.
right? So that the big thing I would think would be to list property.
Oh, yeah,
You want
that's the
property.
backbone of any real estate operation,
It's
yes.
the listing, not the sales, right? Yeah.
Well, the sales take care of
Well,
themselves.
yes, right. And whether you sell or someone else, you still get money if you list it.
Right. Yeah, you want to be the agent to get or the agency to get the listings, because when you have the listings, other agents have to come to you to go through it. So yeah.
Do you have any, or do you intend to have any open houses? I don't know if they've ever had open houses before. Where say-
There's mixed feelings on open houses. One of the reasons that you use a realtor also, which I didn't mention, is that if you try to sell the house yourself, somebody comes to your house, you have no idea what they can afford. No idea. What we do, before we bring anybody through your house, we have a qualified buyer. Okay?
Oh, what you're saying, you're telling me there that a guy comes to buy the house and I say, well, it's $50,000, he can't afford it, we're 25, I'm wasting my time. You wouldn't bring him to my house? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, somebody calls up and they say, I want to look at Bob Ben's house. I say, fine. Before I even show anybody any property, we sit down and I go over their finances and I let them know how much home they can invest in. I can analyze their situation in a matter of 5 minutes, find out what's the best mortgage program for them. I know how much money is in savings for closing costs and down payment. Because if I call you up to show your house, number one, you may be thinking this could be the person that's going to buy my house. If I bring someone that can't afford it, well, number one, I've wasted your time, I've wasted their time, I've wasted my time. So we bring qualified people through the house.
Okay. So that's why you use some of those 45 hours. It's not just to sell the house, it's analyzing. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. And as far as the open house that you said, the problem with an open house is that you've opened the house open to the public, and we have no idea if they can afford your house.
Okay. You realize out there, you're watching us, that it's not our job to be here to tell you to go to a broker or not to go to a broker. Some people try to sell their own house. When you sell your own house, the only person that knows it's for sale is the guy that sees it in the paper, if you got it in the paper, or when he goes by your front door.
Right.
With a real estate agent, you get all his experience, his knowledge, plus exposure like this throughout the county.
Right, you get exposure second to none. Plus, with a person selling on their own, see, in our community that we're in Clinton County, we're a very transient community because of the air base, because of the brokerage firms, because of a lot of the government employees around here. 40% of our buyers, and I say our buyers, that's an industry as total, come from out of town. If I'm coming into town, I don't look in the paper for a little for sale by owner. I look up a realty company. So a person selling on their own is losing 40% of the market right off. So, I mean, yes, people can sell their properties on their own, and it happens all the time. But the percentages are 9 out of 10 times, if a person has to sell the house for whatever reason, they will end up with a broker. There's that 10% chance that they will sell it themselves.
Okay, I just thought of an idea. You told me my house is worth $50,000. It's going to cost me $3,000. We just agreed on.
Right.
I got a night. Let's ask 53.
Okay.
And then I can still get my 50. You say it's worth,
Right.
and I can get. If the person is going to pay 50, they'll pay 53. Right or wrong?
Okay. Could be, but that's also a misconception.
Uh-oh.
People think that, well, If I go through a broker, it's going to cost me more money. What you pay a broker is the cost of doing business. You go to an attorney. If it's a lawsuit, they get 1/3. That's the cost of doing business. You go to a hospital, it's the cost of doing business. What you're having is a professional market your home. What you're paying for is their knowledge and the exposure to market your home. If I do an appraisal for you or a market analysis, and I come up at $50,000, you say, hey, Joey, 3,000 commission, let's ask 54. Let's just say somebody offers you 54. The bank appraiser has to go out there and make sure the house is worth 54,000. He's going to do the same appraisal that I did when I did my CMA. A lot of times the appraiser will say, Joey, what did you use for comparables? So when he works it up and he comes up to 50,000, he doesn't say, okay, it was 50. Oh, there was a broker involved. I got to add 3,000 to value. The bank could care less about that. What you're paying for is the cost of doing business.
You're telling me that you could appraise a house at 50,000, and it's likely that another person who appraised it would come up with the same figure?
Within $2,000.
Is that right?
Sure. Because we're all trained the same way.
Perfectly.
It's not an exact science, no, but you'll be within a couple $1,000s. If you had 3 appraisals on your house, you'd have 3 appraisals within a couple $1,000s.
All right. I say to you, but Joey, they've assessed my house at 56.
Okay.
Now, the assessment that put on by the assessor and your appraisal, do they have to be the same?
No. When they do assess work, it's done in a mass, because they can't go through every single piece of property and do the in-depth work that we do on it. So there's a lot of generalizations. Sometimes there's mistakes, and any assessor will tell you that. That's why they have grievance day. So you can go to them and say, well, let's try to prove your point. Let's just say that the assessor is dead on at 56,000. He assessed you a year and a half ago. The market changes constantly.
Up or down?
Up or down. And the last 2 years we've been on a kind of stable, maybe going down type of market. So something that was assessed 2 years ago would probably be higher than what it's selling for now.
Joey, are there many people who just get a CNA or, give me the meaning of that again?
Competitive market analysis.
Market analysis, just to have it in their file, to know what their house is worth?
Sometimes, but not.
It's not a normal thing, huh?
No, because at that point, if they're just doing it for that point, it's $200.
And it's also could change within a year.
Well, sure. If somebody says, well, give me my value of my house now, I want to sell it in a year, it's really a waste of time because a year can change.
But wouldn't
does
it be in
change.
the ballpark?
Yeah, probably. Give or take $5,000.
Okay, we'll take a short break and be right back. We're watching Hometown Cable. It's Kavanaugh Realty. We're talking with Joey Trombley, the new owner of DBA, Kavanaugh Realty. If you came into Kavanaugh Realty this morning, you'd find out they'd send you right to this desk right here this morning. Why would they do that this morning?
Because I'm the man you want to talk to. No.
Oh, yeah, well, because you're on duty these hours.
Yes, I am. I'm here until 1 o'clock on duty today, but I'll be working all the way till everyone is satisfied.
Okay, well, now, the first thing I would ask, I said, well, what's this man's name? What is this man's name?
Andre LaFountain.
Where are you from, Andre?
From Shazy.
All right, there was an Andre's restaurant. Anything to do with Andre's?
Yeah, I owned and operated that for a little over 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And I bought that when after I graduated from high school, and my parents helped me out a lot with that, and very successful.
Okay.
I sold the business, took a little bit of vacation because I was working about 100 hours a week in the summer and 80 in the winter. When I came back, got my real estate license in Albany, and I got Century 21 in Keysville was holding my license. I was working with them. Since then, I've listed and sold the restaurant again. The restaurant has been sold to some new owners, which I helped them with that transaction.
You mentioned something I don't recognize. They held your license. What do you mean by that?
All the brokers, like now, Joey is holding our license. He's our broker. We're
So you give him,
independent. We're
so to
independent
speak.
contractors. Okay. Everyone that has a real estate license needs a broker to hold their license.
Unless you're like Nancy,
Unless you are a broker
Nancy is a
yourself.
broker.
Exactly.
All right. All right, so how long have you been in the real estate business?
About a little over a year now. After I sold the restaurant,
Well,
got my license.
the hours are better, obviously. You can't work 100 hours selling real estate, can you?
You can.
Can you?
Oh, sure.
You do that?
No, I also work at Aris Laboratories, second shift. So I put 40 hours a week in there, and I'd say about 40 in here also. It's nice. I'm getting married in May, so I like to keep busy.
I was going to say, who's got your... Well, you'll be busy after you get married.
Oh, yeah.
You take care of that, I'll tell you that. I was going to ask you, who's got your banking concession here with 2 jobs like this? Have
Well,
you sold the house yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you've sold
Yeah,
more.
I've been
more, yeah?
doing well.
You got a good
listing.
teacher. You had a good teacher with Frank, and you got a good teacher now with Joey besides, huh?
Right. Well, I was with the Century 21. That's where I first got into real estate and where I was trained. And now I have Joy to help me out with any
Okay,
questions. that I
let's
have.
take Century 21 for instance. Now, that's a national concern, right?
Right.
Kavanaugh is not connected with any national concern.
No.
Most agencies, are they connected with the national? Like you've got ERA, that's a national
Right.
concern.
There's
Caldwell Banker is a national concern.
There's a lot of national brokers, but there's also a lot of private, or what do you want to call it?
Area, we call them area agencies, where
Yeah,
they only
right.
stay within your own area.
Right. You have your smaller ones, but smaller and bigger doesn't mean bigger is not always better as far as nationally. We're serving the northern tier up here, and if you drive around our area 4 is at Shazy, Ross Point, Champlain, Moores, and Ellenburg, you'll see a lot of Kavanaugh signs because we're taking care of the northern tier up here.
You work nights at area?
Yeah,
Okay.
from 4:30 to 1.
Okay, now let's say now to this, you're going to leave here at 12 o'clock, and you've got till 4 o'clock you can do something, and you have no one to show a house to. What would you do with your time?
I would stay right here and get on the phone and start calling people. We're calling, one of Joey's good ideas, we're calling everyone in Ross's Point in the phone book, Champlain, Shazy. It's going to take us, by the time we get finished, we're going to have to start all over again. We're calling everyone in the phone book and asking them if they know of anyone that's interested in selling right now. Because of the low interest rates, we have a lot of people looking to buy in the area. There's only a few houses in the village of Ross's Point for sale right now, and we need more so we can sell them.
You're riding along the road, it says house for sale by owner. Do you stop and say, hey, I could do better for you if I was a... Is that
Well,
normal for a salesman to do a thing like that?
I like to, if there's a sign out there with a phone number, I like to call and make an appointment first. You hate to
All
stop
right,
in and
all
interrupt
right.
somebody.
Professional, very professional. You take the number and you'd call them.
Give them a call and ask them if I can have an appointment to come and look at their house, and if I can help them any way, I would like to do so. Even if they're for sale, selling the house on their own, we have a new program that we can help for sale by owners as far as letting them know the things to do or not to do to sell their home. The reason is they can only sell their house to one person, and the other people that they won't sell their house to, we can get that. If we can get their names, we can contact them and help them. So
Okay.
in return for us helping them try to sell their house, we can get some more people interested.
I'm going to take one of your cards here because I want to show this little card. They've just been made up recently because there it says right there, Kavanaugh Realty. See right there, Andre LaFontaine. And he's an up-and-coming young man that's going to give Joey a push here. You can see how energetic this guy is. Not only is he working here 40 hours, he's got Eris for 40 hours, and taking on the bigger responsibility of getting married this summer. Lots of luck, Andre.
Thank you very much.
And see, I was just talking about the nice young gentleman over there that's just starting out like Joey and all that. Then we get to hear what these gray-haired guys. Look at this. And I'll tell you what's nice about this guy is because he's got the same initials as I have, and we've had our nails mixed up a couple times. It's Regis, right? Regis,
That's right.
Vienne, V-I-E-N-S, and this is Robert, V-E-N-N-E, but we've better known as
Pat.
Vienne. And this man also had a great job, and he was working 40 hours a week and wasn't doing anything on the side except radio and
Come on, Bob.
the things on the side there. What were you doing? Hockey? You're a great hockey guy.
No, I thought you were talking about customs. I was going to ask you if you heard the news last night
What?
on the seizure they made.
Yes, I did.
$10 million.
I thought it was only one. Another one? You said another one last night?
In the stomach business.
Oh, yeah, I saw that in the morning paper, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, now, this guy was also retired from the United States Customs Service, as and Frank. And you see what happens to customs people after? These guys come to work on commission. Frank's making money hand over fist until he's sold, and I'm donating my time here, and I'm going to try to get a lunch from one of these guys. And maybe you can give me a candy bar or something. Pat, how long have you been with Kavanaugh Realty?
Oh, just about a year, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of names, you'd be surprised how many calls I get asking for you. They don't bother to look the name up in the telephone
At
book.
home, yes.
So VNs and Ven, it's
I
the
know
same
that.
thing.
I realize
I don't
that.
conduct any business for you, though, Bob.
Okay. What do you speak French a little bit, right? Pat?
Yes.
Do you get the French Canadians coming down here?
Oh,
They
yes.
push them off to you here, do
Well,
they? Or I
yes.
shouldn't say push them. They're glad to get to you.
Yes, in fact, the lady across the street, we're selling her house. I think this house is being contractually signed for Thursday morning, all done in French.
Huh.
So it comes in handy once in a while.
You got to know the right words though with the
Yeah,
French,
and
right?
a lot of words I don't know because in legalese, it's not the same as talking every day across the street.
Well,
So
Pat, where did Pat Viens come from originally? Where are you from? This area?
I was born in Vermont, Bob, and as you know, I worked in Canada for
Yes.
13 years, foreign duty
At the airport.
at the airport,
Right.
and then came back here in 1976, and I retired in '88.
88. That's when I retired. We retired together.
Together.
I was a import specialist. You were an inspector.
Right.
And things have changed up there a lot since we got out.
They certainly have, Bob.
Okay. What
Names
else?
changed.
Yep. So what? A year, so 3 years. You did like I did. Took it easy and did what you wanted around and took the vacations and things.
Well, pretty much, Bob. But as you know, living in Champlain is a quiet, sedate life, beautiful life. But you know what my career was like, and it's pretty tough to get up in the morning and say, well, what am I going to do today? So Frank and I and you, having been in the same business, I felt comfortable coming down here with Frank, so it would give me something to do.
Very good. And you've got a nice young man there now, the new boss here. We
Fine, they're nice people.
wish you the very, very best.
They're nice people, Bob.
Okay, good luck, Pat.
Thanks
Seeing
very
you
much.
again. We see you at the
Thanks.
post office. They live right
Right.
across from the shopping area. One thing, these guys' biggest problem before coming to work was trying to get back onto Route 11 from his driveway, right? There's a lot of
Exactly.
traffic along there.
I know.
If you could sell a house to 1 out of 100, you'd be rolling in it.
Yeah,
Put a sign out there. Say, I live here. I'm a salesman for real estate.
it's not for sale. My place is not for sale.
Okay. On Hometown Cable ad for Lattimore's, it said it's a family-oriented business, and don't think this is also getting to be that way. Who's this lady right here?
Cindy Bombardier.
Cindy Bombardier, and I bet you your maiden name was Tremblay, right? Yeah, sister of Joey and daughter of Noella and Arvo, obviously. And how long have you been here?
As the secretary, about 3 weeks.
Right.
But I have been selling with Frank for over a year.
Okay, so now you're here every day. You're
Every
a
day.
40-hour.
Right.
All right, and you handle phone calls. You make assignments to the various salesmen.
Well, a phone call. No, there is a duty person that does take the calls that come in, and they'll handle the ones that come in. If they're busy, I will take the phone.
Okay, now this behind us we've never seen before, this computer. I think
Mhm.
Joey said he brought this in. What, do you operate this also?
Yes.
Did you learn all this in your 3 weeks as secretary?
Well, some of it.
Is that right?
Some of it, yeah.
So what do you keep in there? All the listings and...
When Larry brought it over, he had a lot of the people he's done business with, like companies and stuff, and their names are already in the computers. He already had that already set up.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm doing now is following up with letters, like if they've had their driveway blacktop within a few years.
Okay. Oh, you're a little bit of
For upkeep.
both there. Hey, here. All right. I was going to say, did she mean Joey when she said Larry? You meant Larry. Yeah, that's the Northern Blacktopping, right? So you're doing it for both companies, right?
Right,
Here.
I'm working for both.
Very family-oriented business. I told you. See, it's a you're two operating out of here.
Right.
Okay, so writing letters, and is this on like a tape where you can
No, this is a regular typewriter.
regular first? you type for each one individually.
Right.
Okay, and before that, you were doing what? You worked before? Other jobs around the area?
I was at the bank before in Champlain,
Okay, well, yes. Yeah.
but then Joey called me, so
Well, you got to get
Gotta
jump right
come
up.
with the
Eh?
family.
Yeah, you've been hopping to him for years, or he's hopping to you. Well, thank you very much, Cindy. We're going to close out here now. We're just about the end of our string of tape that Cal was giving us for today. We're at Kavanaugh Realty. Cindy Bombardier here, and we're going to go back over and see Joey for a second. And we thank you very much for watching Hometown Cable today and every day at 1:15, 4:30, 8 o'clock, midnight, and 8 the following morning. And thanks for your comments. And don't forget, if you're not already a patron, please become one. We're going to go back over and say goodbye to Joey Trombley, the new owner of Kavanaugh Realty. Thanks for watching the show today on Kavanaugh Realty, and we're here now to make the final closeout with Joey Trombley, the owner and the new proprietor of Kavanaugh Realty.
Correct.
Okay, Joey, what have you got to say to close off?
Well, I personally want to thank Frank Kavanaugh. Frank has been here since 1956, like he said earlier, been here for 35, 36 years, and it's like an honor for him to want to sell the business to me. I mean, there's 125 agents out there that are active, and for him to want to choose me is quite an honor, and I'm going to do my best to carry on Frank's name. Frank is well respected in the area, and I want to make sure that continues.
Absolutely. Well, we know about you, Joey. We see your smiling face on, and I think that means an awful lot. Your family's got a good reputation in this area.
Thanks.
And I know you're going to, nothing's going to happen to change that, right? You know that. And any other plans you have for Kavanaugh Realty? Looks like you're going to run out of this building before long.
Oh, yeah, we're kind
You're
of
pushing right now, right? There's no room in the back to expand, right?
Yeah, there is. We can probably go back
You
another
could?
10, 15 feet.
Okay, because
if
you
we
certainly
wanted it.
were full this morning. You got 4, 5, 6, 7 people in here this morning, you know, that,
Yeah.
and you're just starting. Okay, any other big plans of change that you know of? I notice you're advertising, and wait, tell us just for a second. I see these in the Grand Union and other places. What's the home guide for the Clinton County Board of Realtors?
It's just another step that we do for that total buyer exposure that we talked about, and the majority of the real estate agents or companies out there advertise in this book, and it's a publication that is put out to all the different businesses around, and there's over 15,000 of these picked up every month.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been by far our best form of advertising that we've gone with. It's been here for about a year and a half now, and it's the best thing the Board of Realtors has ever done.
Very good. Thank you very much again, Joey, and good luck here at the Realty. And it's nice to know that I know everybody in here now. We'll see you in the street.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for watching Hometown Cable. Kavanaugh Realty. Stop in and say hello. You don't have to buy anything. Stop in and say hello. Maybe in the future they may even have some pictures of the houses that are for sale. I don't see any in here. I talked to Frank about that one time. Having a bulletin board with the houses that you have that you've listed.
That's a great idea, and we're going to implement that.
You got it from me. You can tell you got it from me. I'm sure he thought about that. It hasn't been done, but it will be soon. And here's some more customers coming in, and we'll let him go and sell these people 2 houses. Bob, then, what's going on here? Calvin Castine on the camera. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.